Hello, my name is Nathan Taylor, otherwise known as Sockmatician, and this is a video tutorial to accompany the Sockmatician's Double Knitted Brioche ebook. This particular video tutorial shows you a little bit about the basics of double knitting, not double knitted brioche. There's a lot to know in the world of double knitting and a lot to know in the world of double knitted brioche, but it's a good idea to get a little bit of foundation of double knitting itself, because that's where double knitted brioche came from, and it follows a lot of the same rules. And you'll be doing some double knitting if you make some of the patterns in the book that feature both techniques. Let's assume then you've already cast on a number of pairs of stitches using one of the cast on methods discussed earlier in the book. Let's also assume that you've worked the first pair of stitches in your row according to the slip stitch edge technique. So I've done that already, and both of my yarns are at the back of the work, having gone there between the two needles. Double knitting is a technique that creates a two-sided fabric. In standard double knitting, both sides of the fabric show up as stocking stitch, and all the stitches are worked in pairs. They are knit purl pairs, and they are AB pairs if you're talking about your yarns. With double knitting, I talk about yarn A. I've got yarn A in my right hand, that equates to the knit coloured yarn in double knitted brioche, and I've got yarn B in my left hand, that's my purl coloured yarn. So in an ordinary pair of double knitted stitches, there's one knit and one purl, and one stitch of yarn A and one stitch with yarn B. And in order to create this fabric, which is one colour on one side and the opposite colour on the other side, I'm going to knit with yarn A, then bring both yarns together to the front of the work, and I'm going to purl with yarn B. And I finish the manoeuvre by taking both yarns to the back of the work, this time going through between the two needles. In double knitted brioche, you take the yarn sort of over the top of the right needle or between the two, or combinations thereof. In double knitting, both the yarns always work together and going in the same places. So I'll show you that again. After I've knitted the first stitch of the pair with yarn A, I bring both yarns together to the front of the work before purling with yarn B and taking both yarns together to the back of the work. It's that simple. Knit with yarn A, yarns to the front, purl with yarn B, yarns to the back. Knit with yarn A, yarns to the front, purl with yarn B, yarns to the back. Knit A, front, purl B, back. That's how you work a pair of stitches in standard double knitting. You can also switch things around, and you can, instead of having an AB pair, you can have a BA pair. So that would mean if I wanted to change the colour and show some blue on this side of the work, I would just switch over the order of the colours that I work. So instead of working a knit stitch with yarn A and a purl stitch with yarn B, still knitting first and purling second, I just knit with yarn B, bring yarns to the front, and purl with yarn A and take yarns to the back. I can knit with yarn B, bring my yarns to the front, and purl with yarn A, take my yarns to the back. Knit with yarn B, yarns to the front, purl with yarn A, yarns to the back. And then switch back again. Nothing needs to change except the colours I choose to knit and purl with. So this time I can knit with yarn A, yarns to the front, purl with yarn B, yarns to the back. You can see here where I switched colours. I've gone from AB, AB, AB to BA, BA, BA. So I've got two blue stitches together next to each other, which is not what you normally see. You normally see them alternating across the needle like that. Here, because I've switched the colours over, I've got two stitches next to each other of the same colour. And then when I switch back, which was just here between this pair and this pair, I've got BA, 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 and then AB, and it's the two A's together that show me where I switched colours. I can't see any of this colour changes on this row, but once I work over the top, the stitches that are currently on the needle will drop down into the main body of the fabric underneath the needle, and then I'll be able to see this blue stitch here, as you can see, coming out of this brown stitch there. Whereas over here, it's a brown stitch that sits atop the column of brown stitches. Here, it's a blue stitch. And that's because I worked the colour changes. That's pretty much all you need to know about working standard pairs of double knitting for the Double Knitted Brioche ebook.
Zip!